be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life. Oh, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new
Live from just outside the Music City, It's Nashville Super Speedway on Maconi Entertainment. It is race number 2 in the round of 8 for the GoatLocker Racing Cruisin Classics Wednesday Next Gen Series. Just a few more drivers looking to punch their ticket to the championship race. It all comes down to tonight to see the remaining 3 drivers out of a potential 6 that are going to be able to join Patrick Drabick in Las Vegas for that championship round. Dylan Coyle joined alongside Jeremy Briggs here tonight. And Jeremy, I'll bring you in now. We've had some fun playoff races so far. This one, it's going to be a little bit more intense than the others.
Wow, this season is winding down so fast. This is going to be a great race. I love Nashville Super Speedway. It's like a concrete jungle to me. I just love the way it races. These next-gen cars are just so awesome to watch this track, especially under the lights tonight. This is going to be a great battle for those final positions to get themselves into the championship race.
Yeah, it absolutely is. As we take a brief look at the playoff bracket right now, J.J. Moore, Jesse Whittington, Blake Edel, Jason Taylor, Logan Sturgeon, Patrick Drabick, Dan Cunningham, and Jake Collins came into the round of 8 last weekend, or last Wednesday, I should say, with a chance to move into the championship 4. Well, 2 of those 8 drivers have kind of punched either their ticket in or their ticket out of contention, whereas Patrick Drabick's second straight win got him into the championship 4. Jesse Whittington was eliminated because he missed last week's race, meaning that there's only 6 drivers left vying for those 3 spots: JJ Moore, Blake Edel, Jason Taylor, Logan Sturgeon, Daniel Cunningham, and Jake Collins. As we take a look at where we have been and where it is still yet to come with this schedule here. Of course, we started out at Richmond and then Charlotte in the round of 12 before going to another short track in Iowa Speedway last week. And there is some interesting news from that Iowa race where Kendorian Davis has been suspended due to actions in that event. So that is something interesting. Lower car counts means it's going to be more difficult for drivers below that cut line to move up in the standings, Jeremy.
Gotta watch how yourself doing out there. I can't believe this season started all the way back in August, and here we are in December, winding it down to the final 2 races. Like you said, lower car counts, but I think this race is going to be very tight. These drivers are going to be very close, side drafting the crap out of each other down these straightaways, trying to get every position they can to see how the aero blocking plays into effect as well here tonight. We're just a few minutes, just under 2 minutes here for qualifying. We'll see who gets that Jam Printing Promotions pole award.
Well, the passage of time is quite noticeable when we do have a lot of fun at these races. And of course, Maconi Entertainment is your home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, event promotion, and more on the iRacing service. Subscriptions are available for the setups for as low as $8 per month. It's the official setup shop of eNASCAR and the official series sponsor of the NASCAR C-Fixed series. Of course, you can go to MaconiSetupShop.com for more information on setups and Maconi Entertainment. As we're just 40 seconds away from figuring out who will win the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. Of course, Jam Printing and Promotions is from Plainfield, Indiana. We're local, we're veteran certified, and when we do well, we can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with GoatLocker Racing since the very beginning and provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company. And real quick, before we do find these final results from qualifying, GoatLocker Racing and InVets is working on a donation plan. InVets supports GoatLocker Racing in many ways, from sponsorship to helping us identify veterans for our community. It's an amazing organization, and you can scan the QR code right there or follow the link to donate to them today. When veteran organizations partner together, we all win one lap at a time. Of course, $25 monthly commitment would be incredible, but anything is beautiful. Let's take a look at the grid for this penultimate race of this next gen Cruisin Classics season. JJ Moore starting on pole alongside George Jewell. That's big for JJ. 26 thousandths up on Jewell. Jesse Whittington, Patrick Drabick, Jake Collins, and Jacob Ellingson, your top 3 rows. We continue on with Blake Edel, Logan Sturgeon, Jamie Barkis, and Daniel Cunningham, your top 10. Jason Taylor, Jeremy Gardner, your 6 front rows, while Timothy Wilms, Tyler Justice, Bobby Germain, and Doug Ellingson, your 8 starting rows in tonight's race. A very low car count for this one.
Low car count, but an extremely stout field of drivers here tonight. The cars are gridding up. The cars are starting up. I'm excited for this to finish up this season, one race at a time. But here in front of us, Nashville Super Speedway. Who's going to come out on top? JJ Moore already setting the tone, getting that Jam Printing Promotions Pole Award. And we hope that everybody at Nasty's Bar and Grill is enjoying this broadcast. Welcome to the iRacing's virtual Nashville Super Speedway.
Yeah, it is time to get pacing and then get racing here tonight. Could be a big one for JJ Moore, who will be starting on the pole. JJ sits 3 points above the cut line and is actually the leading driver that has not punched his way already in. So many drivers tight on points. Really, the only driver that is going to struggle mightily is Blake Edel. He's 7 points, or I should say 8 points below the cut line. There's only 16 drivers in this race. It's going to be tough. 100 laps here tonight. It is a full fuel tank. It's expected to be a one-stop race here. Tire wear probably not going to be too high, but it is a concrete track. It is flat, so expect wear to be a little bit more than you might have thought otherwise. Pace car goes down pit road, and Barney the flagman holds that green flag in his right hand. We are underway. 2 races left to decide the 2024 Cruisin Classics champion.
Oh, contact Drabeck. Sideways in turns
Made
1
it.
and 2. Gets it collected back up. No yellow. Great save. Wow.
That was a fantastic save for Patrick Drabick. I mean, honestly, this is a race that he has no need to win except to keep that momentum rolling. It would be his 3rd straight victory if he was able to pull it off here tonight. He is now down in 3rd to last, which is only 14th in this race right now. He'll try and recollect himself and get some speed going again. JJ Moore fast out in front, Jesse Whittington in 2nd, and what a shame that Whittington was unable to make last week's race.
Whittington has been showing a lot of strength here in the later ends of the season. Once again, showing that right here. Currently running 2nd in the early going. Still got plus 95 laps to go. We'll see how it plays out for Whittington, who's been doing a great job, having great runs. You can see they're side by side. Collins and Jewell. Jewell was started on the front row, falling back a little bit early on, but we usually do see him come on these longer runs. See if Drabeck, also our defending champion, like we said, kind of get to an incident, but like you said, doesn't need to be here, but when you're a defending champion, you want to have all the momentum you can have going into that championship race.
100% as Moore continues to lead the pace for the rest of these drivers. Jake Collins going side by side with George Jewell right here. Collins on the inside. He'll use some of that tire life up to make the move work, and Jewell lets him go by. He lost a lot of speed on that higher line. Of course, Nashville is a very weird mile. It's not even a mile and a half. It's actually 1.33 miles. So it's very different from most tracks that look like this intermediate style. It's, I mean, you think about it this way, it's barely bigger than Phoenix or Dover or New Hampshire. So it's a weird one, and drivers who aren't always as aren't always as successful as others at these intermediate tracks might find some more success here.
Track temperature going to be 78, a cool 78 degrees all night long. Drivers not having to worry too much about that as we look at our Maconi setup traffic weather conditions. Partly cloudy, like we said, 70 degrees. A breezy 24 mile an hour wind from the north. Did those drivers have any effect? I don't know which direction is north of this track, but we'll keep an eye out if any drivers have any of those handling issues. As we are now almost 7 laps into this race. You can still see they're side by side on the inside of Whittington trying to get to second place. That's the 27th Lincoln Tech machine of Jacob Ellingson.
Oh, look at that big block down the inside through the dogleg right there. That was quite hairy, as Jake Collins did not want to see George Jewell get a good run right there. Jamie Barkas on the outside getting involved in this battling, and that's something you like to see, drivers starting to take some different lines, get some aggression going on here. We're about to finish lap number 7, and it's been a clean race so far, other than that initial incident with Patrick Drabeck involved.
And when we mean incident, we mean great save by Patrick Drabeck. That was, especially on those cold tires, these things, it's like ice skates. And right now he finds himself all the way back up to 11th, starting to make that charge back to the front. Running close to the same lap times as the leader. We'll see if he can march his way through this field.
Would be quite impressive. We're on board with that Jam Printing and Promotions machine, the 07 of Patrick Drabeck, 2.5 seconds behind the leader right now. That is JJ Moore. Moore has lost that advantage that he held. It was 0.6 just a few laps ago. Now Jacob Ellingson is only a 10th and some change away from potentially overtaking Moore, or at least catching up to Moore. It's under a 10th now. That gap for the lead. Look at that. Big dive down the inside. JJ Moore slides up a little bit. Is going to use that momentum, but gets tight. Has to take his foot off the throttle. That gives Ellingson a good shot to get to the lead. And right behind is Jake Collins. Where does he go? What line?
Just took the words right out of my mouth. Where is Jake Collins going to go? Is he going to the top? Is he going to the bottom? He's followed Jacob Ellingson all the way up here to that lead battle. Finds himself right in a great spot in position number 3. George Jewell looking on just a few car lengths back from his battle. Oh, really tight for the lead.
Oh.
Jake Collins is going to try
Moore on the
now.
wall. Yeah, JJ Moore got into the wall right there. There was potential contact between Ellingson and Moore scraped that outside wall. Jacob Ellingson giving it all he can, and finally he clears the 54. He takes the lead halfway down the backstretch. Jake Collins still in third. Moore taking a peek down low, decides against it.
Coming around, start lap number 12. Our new leader is Jacob Ellingson. Is JJ Moore now getting heavy pressure there from the 81 of Jake Collins. Potentially going to make that pass happen. And George Jewell not too far back right there in that number 36. Trying to pounce on this battle as well. This is some great racing here at Nashville. I tell you what, these drivers got their hands full. They're doing great.
Yeah, absolutely some great battling right here. Top 10 right now, Ellingson, Collins, Moore, Jewell, Barkas, Whittington, Gardner, Sturgeon, Cunningham, and Patrick Drabeck has moved back into the top 10 right now. He's got Daniel Cunningham up next. Cunningham, he started in P10. He's only moved up 1 spot. That might not be enough to get him into that championship round of the playoffs. Some of the quickest movers, the highest movers quickly in this race. Of course, we've talked about Ellingson's run. Collins has gained 3 spots, Jamie Barkas 4, Jeremy Gardner 5, Cunningham has gained 1, and Tyler Justice 2. Those are the only drivers that have gained any spots in this race. The rest have either fallen positions or struggled to move forward. Look at that, Patrick Drabeck getting aggressive on the apron, almost. He kind of spooked. I think that was Cunningham just a bit in that Ghost 91 and pushed him high a little bit.
That is the 91 of Cunningham. Very tight battling here. Cunningham trying to move forward, getting to the outside of the 26 of Logan Sturgeon. Sturgeon now trying to get to the inside of, Jeremy Gardner there in the 69. We got some great battling right here at the edge of the top 10. Well, this track is producing great racing here early on. We'll see if this does anything to these drivers' tires. We'll see if we have any comers and goers are riding on board right now with this 69 of Jeremy Gardner, finding himself in 7th position, up 5 positions. And having a good run here early on for that number 69.
Yeah, Gardner has made some good momentum so far in this race as Cunningham and Drabick continue to go side by side right now. This is some pretty good battling throughout the field. That lead battle, though, has, I guess, tapered off just for now by a couple tenths.
Jacob Ellingson putting together some good laps, just a few hundredths faster than the whole field. That clean air is king. Oh, Jake Collins really loose there on the exit of 4. He's probably going to lose a little bit of time right there. Yes, he does. Jacob Ellingson, once again, the fastest car. Excuse me, not the fastest. Jamie Barkas in 5th place was the fastest car that lap. We'll see if he can maybe find his way up to the lead. This is going to be some great racing here. We got drivers throughout the field putting together some great lap times. Some great battling right there. Here's the number 15 of Jamie Barkas. Nobody behind him. Whittington right now is 1.5 seconds behind him. Whittington 2.7, now 2.8 off the lead. But Jamie Barkas has a lot of breathing room behind him.
Whittington has just tagged the wall as Jeremy Gardner continues to breathe down heavily on the driver, currently running in 6th position. The 94 machine is Whittington, the 69 Gardner, and almost 3 wide in behind for P8. Logan Sturgeon on the outside in that 26 machine, while Cunningham in the 91 Ghost car tries to move forward. On the outside is Patrick Drabick, almost forced it, middle 3, could not make it work.
Drabick obviously faster. Oh, gonna have a little bit of contact there, I think, with Cunningham. No harm, no foul, but he's gonna give the bumper to Sturgeon to push him down the backstretch. Obviously, the 0-7 faster than these drivers. Oh, Cunningham trying really hard to get back to his left rear. Wow. Side draft after side draft. Can Patrick Drabick do it? Yes. He finally gets cleared of that number 91. Daniel Cunningham can now set his eyes on the 26 of Logan Sturgeon, who washes up a little bit off the exit of 2. Patrick Drabick with great momentum. He's going to maybe find himself in position number 8 as we are now coming around for lap number 21. Green flag laps are great here, and they're doing an awesome job. See if they can keep those right fronts underneath them, not burn those up and make themselves tight.
Yeah, that is something to think about here as Cunningham looks to get a move back going. Cannot make it work. Has now officially, for sure, lost that position to Drabick. Unless Drabick gets a little bit aero-tight. He does not. He goes down the inside of Sturgeon and almost takes it just going into the corner. I think he'll make the move work coming out of it. Yes, that was an authoritative move, but he gets into the wall. That's a hard slapper.
Whew. A little bit of contact there behind him as well with Cunningham and Sturgeon battling side by side. Patrick Drabick, though, can finally take a deep breath. He's got a half a second out front to go. Finally has some breathing room. As up front, still Jacob Ellingson in the lead, almost a second lead now over Jake Collins, 7/10 right now. Jake Collins has some help behind him. They just can't seem to match the speed of this number 27 right now, Lincoln Tech Machine. Clean air is king always with these next-gen cars. We'll have to see if Jacob Ellingson can keep himself up front all night long. Like I said, we got one pit stop tonight. Hopefully these drivers maybe took some practice for some green flag stops, because at this rate, we could see it on the horizon.
No one necessarily, cares if Jacob Ellingson is able to get this win, at least if they're in the playoffs, because if he does win this race, every playoff driver almost breathes a sigh of relief, right? They don't have to worry about the fact that, hey, maybe there's a shot that a playoff driver wins and gets their way into the next round. As it currently stands, Ellingson not in the playoffs and would not be a threat. Now Jay Collins, now JJ Moore, those drivers obviously a little bit more of a threat to everyone around as they're getting into a fierce competition now with George Jewell just behind them.
George Jewell been kind of just sitting right here after starting on the front row, been hanging into the top 5. Like I said earlier on, he seems to find himself better on the long runs. Doesn't fire off that well. A little arrow tight there off of turn 4, but right now he can see the pole sitter in front of him and Jake Collins. Can he find a way around him? But it's hard to pass when you got all this dirty air in front of you, especially with 2 cars almost side by side down the backstretch.
Yeah, this is some good racing right here. JJ Moore, he's got momentum, and he just licks the stamp and sends it deep into 3 and 4. He makes it work. That was a fantastic move from Moore, and right in behind, George Jewell almost able to go underneath Collins. Couldn't do it there. Maybe he'll get it back in just another lap's time.
I wonder if that almost caught Jake Collins off guard a little bit, because he sent it in there hard. He made it stick. Like you said, George Jewell was almost able to capitalize. A lot of these drivers have been driving it into turn 3 extremely hard and making it stick, but kind of struggles a little bit off the exit for those drivers that back up the entry, kind of capitalize on the exit. So we'll see if George Jewell can maybe get him in turns 1 and 2, as he's now right here on his back bumper. Oh, literally into his back bumper. Oh, into his back bumper again.
Oh, they both slid up the racetrack, and Jewell, I mean, I can't really get too upset with either of those 2 drivers right there. That's just hard racing for one position. Ooh, that was a bit of a block there, but the door was left open. It was slammed shut pretty quickly. I wonder if these 2 are going to continue to be aggressive with each other on lap 28 of 100, now lap 29. Oh, there's a dive down the bottom right here on Jewell. That's happening from Jamie Barkis. So these drivers, they do not care who is in the playoffs, who's out of the playoffs. Jesse Whittington is pushing Jewell into the corner. He has to get on the brakes much harder than his competitors, and a wiggle in the corner from Barkis opens the door up for Whittington. What great racing here at Nashville Superspeedway.
Watching these drivers do different lines. Whittington backed up the entry into turn 3, turned left, full throttle, gassed it up, and got to the inside of Barkis, who then found the wall on the exit of turn 4 as Whittington now trying to make the pass on the 36 of, ooh, there's a block there by George Jewell that Whittington was trying to make that pass on. This is some aggressive driving here in the top 5. Oh, Whittington will contact.
Yeah, there was some more contact. I think Whittington also got into the outside wall. This is going to hurt both drivers. They're too wide, right in behind Jake Collins. Collins' dirty air, is pushing both Jewell and Whittington to struggle a bit here. But I don't think Collins is doing that hot himself, as there's one car slow on the apron right there. I don't quite know who it is. Now that was Doug Ellingson.
Right here. Ooh, all over the back bumper there was Gardner on the 36 of Jewell. Man, this is some awesome racing right here. These drivers are pushing these cars to the edge, racing really hard. This is what GoatLocker is all about. Not only is it great racing, but they give back in the real life situations with veterans and all things like that, with vets and all. And it's always a great part to be a part of these broadcasts and showcase this great racing that GoatLocker can provide.
Oh man, just absolutely stupendous driving from all of these drivers. They're getting into the wall, they're getting into each other, and while this is happening, Jacob Ellingson, and to a lesser extent JJ Moore, is able to just drive away as Collins is blocked off by the 94, and it looks like Jeremy Gardner wants a piece of the puzzle. Collins, some contact with George Jewell. They've been going at it here. Just awesome.
Wow. George Jewell contact there, looks like with Barkis. George Jewell is going to finally get to the inside of Collins. What's Collins going to do with them? They've been racing each other extremely hard. George Jewell turned left. Extremely hard. They're just beating and banging their doors all the way around the track. Wow. There's some bad blood in those waters.
see, I'm okay with that aggression as long as it doesn't lead to a wreck. As Collins, he went way too hard on the throttle out of corner number 4, gets into the wall. That's that battle over for now.
Marcus looking to capitalize and get himself back into position number 5, but they are still side by side as we look here at the battle for Whittington. Whittington's got Gardner on his back bumper. This is for 3rd and 4th. JJ Moore up in front of them almost just about a second, 8/10 now. Looks like these drivers are just kind of hanging out the 8th, 9th, 10th range behind JJ Moore. JJ Moore now finds himself 3/10 away from Jacob Ellingson and posting faster lap times, almost a 10th faster than our leader that time.
Yeah, Ellingson is currently fast. JJ Moore, though, just a little bit faster. And we'll see if that continues to be the case as Collins, again, down the inside of Jeremy Gardner. I should say, not Gardner, but it is Jamie Barkus. These drivers, this is just fun to watch as Patrick Drabick joins the battle. He's looking to make it not just 8th, but 7th or
Continuing the march forward there for Jake Collins. So kind of battling out here. Excuse me, that was Patrick Drabeck trying to make his march back to the front as he started up in the 4th position, fell back to 13th, now finds himself looking for 7th. There was slight contact at the beginning of the race, found himself almost completely sideways with a great save, kept us clean and green. Now Drabeck to the inside of Collins, he's going to make that pass, put Drabeck back into 7th place, only a few positions back from where he started now. So pretty much back to where he started, almost halfway into this race. And speaking of halfway into this race, are we going to have to see pit stops anytime soon? It's in the picture, especially we've been green for so long. Since the beginning of this race, we've had great racing all over the track. Still got Daniel Cunningham right there in the 91 in 9th. He started in 10th, been kind of hanging out there in 10th and 9th position, battling it out with those guys. Logan Sturgeon finds himself back there in 8th. Jason Taylor's right there at the edge of the top 10. Jason Taylor's found some, oh man, everybody's finding the wall on exit of 4. This is pretty intense right now. With these drivers having these 40 lap older tires, did they practice this long? Are they prepared for their cars to feel like this right now? Those right fronts are probably getting pretty hot, even though it is concrete. These drivers have got a lot to start thinking about, especially those pit stops coming up. Jacob Ellingson, though, picked the pace back up. Man, everybody, wow. Turn 4 wall is getting lit up with right sides of these cars right now. We have lost Dylan temporarily. We'll wait for him to get back. You guys are stuck with me for the time being. You're looking at this battle between JJ Moore, Jesse Whittington, and Jeremy Gardner. Gardner started in the 12th position, finds himself +8, trying to get into that podium position of number 3. JJ Moore maybe potentially holding up these drivers. We'll have to see this time by. Yes, JJ Moore just a tick slower as Whittington's going to drive it hard into turns 1 and 2 right there. They're going to be side by side off the exit. Can Gardner capitalize right here? We'll have to see in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, this is some good racing. No, I was just letting you go. I wanted to hear. I want to take a break real quick. Good job, Jeremy. Thanks for covering for me. Some technical difficulties on my end. Ben, look at that. Some difficulties right there for JJ Moore. Hard into the outside fence. That allows the opportunity for Jeremy Gardner to continue moving up through the field. That is another position loss for JJ Moore. All these playoff positions, they're precarious, these drivers, their deals right now.
A lot of drivers, like I said, right there when you're away, Dylan, finding that wall in the exit. So these playoff drivers are going to start being careful. They don't want to bend up their front end and have a lingering problem. We are now almost to halfway on this race. It is flying by. I mean, right now we're almost halfway in, almost 25 minutes in. So these drivers are just flying with these lap times right now. They are running 29.8 was their fastest laps to start. Right now they're running 30.8, so we've lost a second of lap times. And I'm actually quite impressed with that because I didn't expect that much fall off.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I expected this much fall off this quickly. I did expect a little bit of fall off. It is a concrete track. It's more slippery, but they are racing aggressively, and it is a flat track as Cunningham gets pushed into the corner. This is a battle just inside the top 10 for 9th, and Barkus tries to go around the outside of Cunningham, cannot do so. Cunningham's been almost stuck in mud. He hasn't really been able to move that much forward through this field.
Feels like per one position that Cunningham gets, one more driver from behind him ends up passing him back. So, like you said, kind of teeter-tottering between their 9th and 10th. See if he can maybe burst that bubble here shortly. He got a couple more positions forward. As we see Jamie Barkus, he was running the top 5 there earlier on. Started in 9th, moved up quite a bit. Now, I think he found the wall, a little bit of contact. Maybe has some bent up suspension pieces. Been kind of on the decline here. Almost almost 3 or 4 tenths off the pace right now. So Barkus, who's running up towards the top 5, kind of got the bleeding happening right now. As we look further up forward, though, Jacob Ellingson now finding himself back into a podium position, trying to maybe get around the number 69 of Jeremy Gardner there in 2nd.
Oh man, this is some good racing. I think very soon though we're going to start to see pit stops happen since we're close to that halfway point. Drivers who want to benefit from a potential caution will stay out on the track potentially longer than other competitors. We'll just have to see as this race continues on, and goodness me, it's been a good one so far.
It's been a blast to cover this race at Nashville Super Speedway. Lots of room for great racing. Like you said, these pit stops are probably going to be happening very shortly. See if maybe these drivers are saying, all right, if we're going this long, we're going to go. It looks like drivers potentially coming to pit. Yes, Sturgeon coming to pit. Jamie Barkus coming to pit this time.
Yeah, Barkus going into the pits. Some drivers will benefit from this undercut. If they're losing 1.2, 1.3 seconds per lap, they're going to gain all of that back on the drivers who stay out additional laps. As right now, Patrick Drabick is one of those drivers that might benefit the most, right? He's been fast. He's obviously shown his speed. He had the mistake earlier on. He was one of the first drivers to head down pit road.
Looks like these drivers that are on pit road are going to lose a lap as they're just getting their left sides on. Looks like we had 4 drivers come down pit road here trying to split this race right down the middle. Jewell, Drabeck, Sturgeon, Barkus off pit road this time. Jesse Whittington coming this time. Collins coming this time.
Lots of drivers deciding to go down pit road at the halfway point. Whittington, does he get in? I think he just barely got in legally. JJ Moore, he was a little quicker getting to that first line right there as Jeremy Gardner and Blake Edel, the only drivers besides Jason Taylor and maybe Daniel Cunningham, Wilms Justice, who have stayed out on track.
Looks like for right now, Jesse Whittington penalty free after that really tight entry there. Like I said, some of these drivers might not practice it, maybe not expecting to go green for so long. As it looks like Blake Edel coming down pit road this time, just past the halfway mark. Different strategies going on now. This has really been some awesome racing. Jeremy Gardner in it for the long run right now, still finding himself out front, 6 seconds in front of the 41 of Jason Taylor. Continuing to grow, as it looks like right now from 8th on back, all those drivers are now 1 lap down. We'll see if they can get back or on the leader. We'll see what their lap times are here shortly as they're starting to put down these laps. 1 second faster right now for Patrick Drabeck than the leaders.
Yeah, Drabick is going to gain some substantial time, substantial positions from that earlier pit stop right there. Don't know how much it's going to play out as this race continues on. We will have to see. Drabick and George Jewell, they were the first 2 drivers, the top 2 drivers too, to go down pit road. So this is going to be a good tell to see if that undercut works.
And on the flip side there, Dylan, you know, these drivers that are staying out, they're losing time now, but they're going to gain time when they have the fresher tires later on. But it's just a matter of how much time, which drivers are losing where. Was it on pit road? Was it in the pit stop? Was it what was the exchange that made you have a better time? But we got, looks like, Daniel Cunningham this time.
I just don't know if the drivers that pitted a couple laps after these drivers are going to gain that much with fresher tires later in the run. They all kind of fall off at similar paces, but 1.3 seconds per lap quicker. That's a lot of time added up as the run goes on. Drabick currently in 9th, running fantastic lap times. He might be in the top 5 by the time this cycle is all said and done.
A lot can happen. You're going to have slower traffic, faster traffic. You know, you got to balance this act. You know, there could be a caution right here. A lot of drivers can get stuck a lap down. Looks like from 5th on back now, a lap down. How much sooner until these drivers start getting their laps back? They got some ground to make up.
I mean, some of these drivers have already made their bed, and they might want to lay in that bed. We see somebody like Bobby Germain or Tyler Justice, Timothy Williams, and Jason Taylor. They've been out for 6+ laps more, longer than the rest of the field. They don't come in like now. The only strategy call that they've got, they can't go in between. They've got to just stay with the hoping for a caution kind of strategy.
Looks like the top 10 now getting themselves back here on the lead lap as our leaders were coming down pit road. So we'll see who's going to gain, who's going to lose. As these pit exchanges are almost complete. Looks like we're waiting for about 3 drivers to come down pit road. Looking at these pit times, nothing too extreme. Looks like Jacob Ellingson was the fastest one down pit road though on time.
We still need 4 drivers, or I should say 3 drivers now to go down pit road, and Tyler Justice, Timothy Wilms, and Bobby Germain. So those 3 drivers definitely have to, and Wilms has gone down pit road, so now it's just Justice and Germain that will remain on track. We'll see how long they wait. This is going to be a top 5 run right now for Patrick Drabick.
Drabick was one of the faster ones on that run, and it looks like he finds himself right there behind JJ Moore or Jesse Whittington. How much farther behind is he from Jacob Ellingson, who I believe Ellingson will pretty much cycle around to be our new leader once all the pit stops are completed. Almost a half a second faster than most of these drivers down pit lane, so Jacob Ellingson doing a great job hitting his pit speeds down pit road, setting himself up for a good run here towards the end. Now that we're past halfway, got about 40 laps to go next time. Ooh, Drabick on the move, gets a little bit of contact there to the back of JJ Moore, and oh, Drabick gets himself loose.
I don't know if there was contact there, but Drabick definitely took as low as you could possibly get. The bumps got him a bit tight in the corner, and it sent him up the track off of turn 2. He's still in contention, though, for a podium finish. I wouldn't necessarily say it's outside the realm of possibility for him to get a race win. If he's able to get by both JJ Moore and Jesse Whittington fairly quickly, he'll only be a second away from Jacob Ellingson for the lead of this race. A lot of that is due to that pit strategy. Some of it is due to his smooth driving and decisive decision making after that initial contact at the start.
And if you're wondering why we're talking so much about Patrick Drabick right now, you know, he went back to 13th position on lap 1, turn 1 after some slight contact. We've been clean and green this whole race. There's been 0 red flags. Knock on wood, broadcasters. Jinx. This has been some really great racing though, with 40 laps to go, 39 laps to go this time. And Patrick Drabick, wow, with a power boom, almost gets into Whittington right there. Now sets his sights on the JJ Moore. I mean, this is just some awesome racing all around as Gardner trying to capitalize as well.
Goodness me, some great racing here. Whittington almost came down too low on corner entry. That would have sent him into the side of Jeremy Gardner, but it's 2 positions lost for Whittington and 2 gained for Patrick Drabick. He is, I mean, for all purposes, in a podium spot right now and only 1.4 seconds behind the lead of this race. Provisionally, of course. Tyler Justice is going to stay out as long as that fuel tank can last him, but Jacob Ellingson should get back into the lead.
Tyler Justice on 64 lap tires. 12 lap tires behind him. So obviously eating up that lap by lap. Right now, 16 seconds to go there for Jacob Ellingson. As the battle pretty much is on for the top 5 behind him. Right here between Drabeck, Gardner, Whittington, Jewell, JJ Moore. This is like these drivers are out here. They're beating and banging. They're keeping it clean though. They're not wrecking anybody. You know, they're giving hard bumpers. They're giving some slight door contacts, and it's hard racing and great racing.
Yeah, this is solid racing. This race has been a treat so far, and as we work towards lap 66 of 100 in just a bit, I mean, we've got 35 and change laps remaining in this one. We've been green the entire way. We're almost done this fuel run in full for Tyler Justice. I know there's a broadcaster's curse somewhere in there as Drabick and Gardner keep swapping positions in the snake. Gardner slides up underneath Drabick, almost gets into the side of him. Some contact and momentum in Gardner's case.
I think Gardner knows this is the battle right here for the race win. Oh, he's almost to his back bumper. Gardner looks like he's got 4 lap fresher tires than Drabeck. We'll see if that is that big of a difference as Gardner is all over the back bumper of that 07 as he gets a little bit of breathing room here into 3 and 4, but Gardner powers it up off of turn 4. Can't get to his back bumper again and try to make this pass into turns 1 and 2.
Oh man, still swapping positions right now, swapping locations. They want to plant their race car on track right behind Gardner and Drabick. Our 2 drivers fighting for a position right now. This is so good.
Lots of great defensive driving, but a lot of these drivers, you know, they're blocking, but there's nothing egregious, not dirty. As Gardner looks like he's going to get to the inside of Drabeck on the exit of 4 to his inside quarter panel. They're side by side in turns 1. Who's going to drive it in harder? Looks like Gardner giving it all he can. Is this the battle for the lead?
Yeah, this is good racing right here. I don't know if it's the battle for the lead. I wouldn't quite say that. But JJ Moore and Jacob Ellingson are a little bit up the track. Those 2 drivers are certainly going to be fighting for the provisional lead of this race.
Gardner put himself in a good position with about 4 lap fresher tires and everybody around him. It doesn't sound like a lot, but right now, looking at his lap times, Gardner with 29.95s and Jacob Ellingson, who's going to become our leader, running 30 flats basically. So not too much faster, but definitely faster than Ellingson. We'll have to see if he can get there in these final few, let's say, 30 laps.
Yeah, this is good racing here. As Tyler Justice, he's pretty much gone the majority of the laps he can potentially do. You know, I don't hate this. I don't hate it now. He's gonna just keep pacing until he can't anymore. Oh, he's losing it. Does he? He's gonna slide and spin into the pits. Will this bring out a caution?
Oh, let's see if he can get it whipped back around. He can, and that's going to hurt anything that he might have had and an advantage on the other end of that.
Goodness me, yeah. Any advantage he would have had, I think, was already over by the time he went down pit road. He's going to lose a substantial amount of time regardless. He's going to go a lap down, potentially. Maybe, I mean, there's not much more he could have done. He just needed a yellow flag to come out. That's really going to hurt his chances in this race. But Ellingson back in the lead officially. JJ Moore in behind. Gardner, your podium right now.
Top 3 lap times all within the same. They're pretty spread out. Top 3 by 1.4 seconds right now. Who is going to capitalize on these final few laps? I mean, we're 73 laps into this race now. All green flag racing. Is there any mental fatigue going on with these drivers? You know, I know we're just sim racing, but you know, this probably feels like forever at this point.
Yeah, no, this is quite good. This is quite good. The mental fortitude that these drivers are having right now. I mean, it's only 73 laps, right? A Cup Series driver in the real world might say, what the heck does 73 laps mean for mental endurance? But in iRacing, in the sim world, you usually don't have a green flag run like this. Oh, and Drabick, I think, got into the wall right there. That opens back up the door to George, or I should say Jesse Whittington. These drivers, they just don't know when to quit.
Wow, great side-by-side battle right there. Maybe Drabeck potentially hurt his tire, is trying to charge back to the front. The driver's now behind him, starting to capitalize as the laps are winding down. We'll take a look at the replay. The 07 on the outside. No contact right there. We'll see if he gets it into turn 1. I didn't see it right there. Must have just missed it. They're still continuing side by side out of turn 2 as it looks like Whittington's going to finally make that pass.
My goodness, just good racing right here as Jesse Whittington continues to hold Patrick Drabick off after making the move happen. It's lap 75 of 100 in this race. That gap between Ellingson and Moore, by the way, it's come down, but that gap between Gardner, Moore, and Ellingson, it's come down even further. Gardner is only 2/10 back of second place right now.
Gardner putting down those laps, like I said. I mean, he is faster, but we got 25 laps to go, and they're winding down quick. And Gardner, you know, being where we got back behind the leader, you know, only 8/10. So, you know, time is now if he's going to make that happen. He's going to make an extremely quick pass here on JJ Moore. As behind Gardner is the 42 car, but that is a lap car of Bobby Germain. Just kind of holding right there. The lap car behind these two battling as it looks like Gardner is going to get to the inside of JJ Moore going into turns 3 and 4. Gardner continuing to march forward. He's going to potentially get around JJ Moore this lap.
I mean, Jeremy Gardner, he could potentially win this race as JJ Moore into the wall. That's going to hurt his momentum from being on the outside right there. He's going to have no recourse against Jeremy Gardner, who just blows by him assertively in behind. So now it's just Gardner a half second behind Jacob Ellingson. Gardner has 2 lap fresher tires. How much is that going to matter?
Apparently it matters a lot more than we think. With just 2 lap fresher tires, because he finds himself within striking range for this lead. Looking at that last lap, he was, looks like 2/10 faster than our leader.
Yeah, even quicker right now. He is flying through this field, and with so many laps remaining, it's going to take a near miracle for Jacob Ellingson to be able to hold off Gardner in this race. Gardner has some traffic he might have to deal with. Here's a battle between Cunningham and Logan Sturgeon, these two swapping positions, 8th and 9th on track.
There has been great racing throughout this entire field all night long. As we are looking there at Daniel Cunningham, who finally finds himself at least one more position better than he's been all night, but looks like Logan Sturgeon trying to spoil that party. Daniel Cunningham just been bouncing between 8th, 9th, and 10th all night long on this 80-lap green flag run. These drivers now got about 30 laps on their tires. You know, you're going to have comers and goers who beat up their tires the most when they come off of pit road. Laps are winding down. This race is flying by. This whole season's been flying by, Dylan.
Yeah, it really has been flying by. This race, I mean, it's not even an hour into this race, and we're already in the final 20%. Sturgeon slides up into the left side of Cunningham. Taylor
Three
will
wide.
take opportunity to his means and take it 3 wide into the corner. Sturgeon in the middle slides up. Almost some contact there between Sturgeon and Cunningham. Might have been some contact between Sturgeon and Taylor.
Whew, I am so glad that I am up here in the broadcast booth because this is some intense racing. Just up here in the broadcast booth, look at Jason Taylor trying to gas it up off of turn 2, trying to get these two positions side by side with Cunningham going into 3 and 4. This battle for basically 8th, 9th, and 10th is a barn burner.
I mean, every battle on this track, every battle in this race has been fantastic, and it's been happening on pure strategy with a lower car count. That's the other thing that we love to see. Just good racing here as Jesse Whittington and JJ Moore start to go against each other right now. Fun.
Extremely fun all the way around. Jeremy Gardner, though, having fun in first place. Don't look back now. He's the fastest car on the track. Nobody can take this away from Jeremy Gardner if all goes well here to the end. The yellow comes out. Who's going to pit? Who's going to stay out? Is there going to be strategies that happen here at the end of the race? This is some intense racing here between the Jesse Whittington and JJ Moore machine as Jacob Ellingson, the second place car, just a couple cars in front of them. There's a 1 lap car between them. Jacob Ellingson slightly falling off this run, about 2/10 slower than Jesse Whittington that time. So Jacob Ellingson potentially burned up his tires right here. See if he can hang on to that podium position in these final 15 laps this time by for Jeremy Gardner. Whittington trying to get around the lap car of Bobby Germain.
Yeah, I'm looking through the field right now, and I don't see much more that can change. The real question is, with Gardner having better tire life than pretty much everybody except for Blake Edel and Jason Taylor in the top 10, as well as actually Daniel Cunningham, they're too far back right now to have anything on this win of the race kind of battle. So for me, as long as Gardner didn't overshoot his 2-lap advantage, he should be pretty good, I'd say.
When they say smooth and steady wins the race, that's pretty much all Jeremy Gardner's got to do right here. A lot of clean track in front of him right now to help put down some pretty decent lap times. Jesse Whittington was the fastest car the last time around. Is Whittington going to maybe to make a charge here at the end? Still 9/10 back though.
Yeah, what a really solid battle right here on Maconi Entertainment. Some Cruisin Classics Next Gen action. We haven't really had much of a break to talk about Cruisin Classics. And by the way, before we do get to Cruisin Classics, we'll get to them actually after the race. It's been fantastic. This is the kind of race that if you're a title sponsor of this series, you want to see.
Speaking of Cruisin Classics, this is going to be one of those classics here on Maconi Entertainment for a great race tonight by this GoatLocker Racing League here on the Wednesday night Cruisin Classics Next Gen Series. Week in and week out, these drivers have really been putting them down. Some great racing throughout the whole field every night. There's so much to cover. Let's take a quick look at our top 10 as these laps are winding down.
Yeah, just been awesome. Just been awesome. The real question now is who's going to get P2? And I think Jesse Whittington, I almost feel like he's got that in the bag. Jacob Ellingson, he's lost some more time on him. He's half a second up on JJ Moore, which has been fairly consistent. This feels like the battling is all going to happen kind of like at the behind the top 5 right now, which it's been fantastic throughout this race.
This is the most the field's been spread out all night long. One slip up though can change the end of this race. Somebody finds the wall a little too much, but I tell you what, Jesse Whittington was 3/10 faster than Jeremy Gardner We might have a side-by-side battle here shortly for this lead.
So Jesse Whittington has continuously shown some good speed as this run has continued. I don't know if that speed in the last lap was more due to a mistake from Gardner than Whittington just being faster overall. At last lap, it was actually Gardner faster by 0.02 of a second. We'll see what the trend is this time by.
That was with Whittington finding the wall on the exit turn 4 that time. Pretty good pancake that time. We'll see how much that slows his momentum down this lap. Still within a half a second. 7 laps to go. Excuse me, 8.
Love myself a good pancake for sure, just not when it's up against the wall or potentially scraping it. Does Jesse Whittington have anything left in the tank? And even if he does, it's almost kind of a playoff, a postseason of so much going right. However, he's been his own worst enemy. He got put back into the playoffs after missing a race in the first round. It was a decision from race control. He then won a race that got him into the next round. That was actually race number 1. He won that, missed the second one, was taken out, then put back in due to another driver missing a race or missing this round of races. And then Whittington missed last week, making him ineligible to move into the championship 4. However, if he's able to get this lead and take the win away from Jeremy Gardner, it's almost you just could have just taken the green flag wherever you were.
Yeah, definitely going to be a hard pill to swallow to come out of here as a victor and not being able to punch your ticket into that championship race. We saw the drivers coming around there. Jake Collins right now finds himself 13th position, 1 lap down now. Not sure what happened there, but losing quite a bit of time.
I mean, you still want to win the race, right? No matter what. You still want to win the race as, this is some good battling. Blake Edel and Daniel Cunningham. Edel, remember, he needed at least 8+ points to move into the next round. 8th place, I don't know if he passes Cunningham is going to cut it. Cunningham was kind of on that line as well. So these drivers, they're fighting for everything they possibly have. 1 point is massive, and a 2-point swing happens whenever a playoff driver passes another playoff driver. So many things can happen as this race goes on, with 4 laps to go for the leaders, 3 laps to go for drivers who are a lap down.
And surprisingly, we've still got 12 cars on the lead lap, 13th through 16th, a couple laps down. Doug Allenson having a decent night, honestly. Only 6 laps down with this race being green to checkered, or sorry, green so far, excuse me. Gonna jinx us there. As the checkered flag is winding down, it's all like within striking range. You know, it's been a great race, extremely quick pace here. I mean, we're down the final few laps, and we're just over 50 minutes.
Yeah, this has been fantastic, and we're only a lap and a half away. Oh, that's a huge hit into the outside wall for Jesse Whittington. I think that is race lead battle over there, unless there is a caution. A massive slap with that right side of the car into the wall right there. Gets back on his horse, but he's got too big of a disadvantage right now to Jeremy Gardner with 2 laps to go, 9/10 of a second. Based on what we've seen, this is Gardner's race to lose as long as he gets back to the white flag here.
Gardner can take a deep breath right here. Don't even have to look out the mirror anymore. Just put your eyes forward. Go grab that white flag. Come around and see the checker.
Yeah, this is going to be big. If Gardner can get back to the stripe, he'll take the white flag. 1 lap to go here at Nashville Super Speedway. We are going wall to wall, 100 green flag laps. Fantastic to see. It's not every day you get to see one of those. Way up the racetrack goes Jeremy Gardner. All he's got to do is take this car to the stripe one more time. Almost a second advantage on Jesse Whittington. All he has to do is be calm. All he has to do is cross the stripe. All he's got to do next is burn it down and take the checkered flag, because Jeremy Gardner wins it here at Nashville Super Speedway. Gained 11 spots en route to the win.
What a great race here tonight on Maconi Entertainment. Green to checkered for this Cruisin Classics Next Gen Series.
Just awesome. Awesome race to watch. And Whittington will give Gardner a little bit of a tap on the rear bumper, and that's definitely one of good racing, good hard-fought win. And Patrick Drapick's going to turn Jeremy Gardner. Pretty sure that's a friendly start to the burnout and a nice smooth transition into his donuts. Jeremy Gardner wins it here in the Cruisin Classics Next Gen Series. We're going to take a short break here on Maconi Entertainment before we go through final results and the podium interview.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back on Maconi Entertainment in the Cruisin Classics Next Gen Series at Nashville Super Speedway. A great race, 100 laps, flag to flag here. Let's go over the final race results. And Jeremy Gardner will take checkered flag and victory in this race. Gets the win after starting in 12th position. What a solid job for him. Jesse Whittington and Jacob Ellingson round out the podium, while JJ Moore, Patrick Drabick, and George Jewell, Jason Taylor, Blake Edel, Logan Sturgeon, and Timothy Wilms, your top 10 finishers in this race. Daniel Cunningham and Jamie Barkis round out the drivers, finishing on the lead lap. Bobby Germain, Jake Collins, Tyler Justice, and Doug Ellingson round out your 16-car field of drivers. We might be able to get some playoff results by the end of this broadcast. If not, we'll be able to share that with you, of course, next Wednesday before we go through the final race of the season. But for now, we have no Jeremy Gardner in the waiting room, so we're going to bring in second place finisher Jesse Whittington. And Jesse, you had a lot of speed late there, of course. Might have burned the tires off just a tad bit too much by the time you got within that half-second range. You feel like that's, you know, what kind of undid your race win run there?
Oh, absolutely. Sorry. I saved the tires great that first run, and then the second run I was doing the same thing and started chasing everybody back down. And whenever I saw that he was like a second and a half ahead, and I think I was closing in on Jacob, I was like, I just started seeing red and just wanted to get up there as quick as I could and just burnt my stuff up a little too quick. And like I told Jake, if I would have just saved, like if I would have noticed that we had, 10, 15 laps to go, I would have kept on saving and just kept on chipping away at it. But I decided to start pushing and pushed a little too early, and that is 100% what costed me. And I mean, of course, hitting the wall there late, that didn't help any at all, but
How are the conditions on the track? Obviously, it's not your normal intermediate, and it is under the lights. So, with those two conditions being said, it's a flat track. It's it's a shorter intermediate. How bad was the tire wear compared to what you expected?
Uh, to be honest with you, it was about spot on with what I was expecting. Every time I come to this track, I put it in my head first 15 laps are the most important. You get your tires overheated, and that's whenever it's done for the rest of the run. So I knew about if I just kind of let everybody go do their thing, and I think they were out to like a 2-second lead over me at one point, and I decided to keep on sitting back and saving. And about 30 laps into the run, each run, I started chipping back away at it. And I mean, to be honest with you, it's what I expected. I don't know about everybody else, but it's about what I expected. It wasn't very much different than if we were running in the daytime versus the night. The only difference is it kind of allowed you to get those really quick laps about 5-10 laps into the run, and then about 15 laps into the run, that's whenever everything started to fall off. So
All right. Well, still congrats on the second place finish. Do you have anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
oh, absolutely. First and foremost, I got to thank my wife, my kids. They're always supporting me coming out here and doing this. And I hate that I've missed the last 2 weeks. Well, first, I was on a cruise that I've had booked for over a year, and then I come back and my computer, the power supply ended up going out. So I had to get a new power supply this week and got it back up and running. That's why I'm here again tonight. So I got to throw a shout out to my extended family, I guess you could say, my neighbor who's an IT tech. Of course, I got to throw a shout out to Tabasco, who's on the car. It's a local, Louisiana brand that's known worldwide. Can't thank them enough for the opportunity. I'm excited to run their colors and have that on the car. Of course, Focus Fuel and Burt's Beat for getting me set up with them. Les Shen Brewery, Luke Haley Music, Full Lock Racing. Those guys are always pushing me to be one step better every time I get on track. And of course, GoatLocker, all of their sponsors. I really need to write down a list. I feel like I've been talking to y'all a decent amount recently, so I need to write down a list of their sponsors. But GoatLocker and everybody that's involved with them and everything that they stand for, I can't thank the league enough for giving me this opportunity. It sucks that we're not making it to the Final Four, but hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna enjoy it next week here on Maconi Entertainment, and we're gonna go give it our everything and try to see if we can play spoiler while everybody else is going for that championship.
I think you pretty much wrapped up every single partner and sponsor in the Cruisin Classics Next Gen series, and that is appreciated. Congratulations.
I'm very good all the time, but I try, man.
Hey, we appreciate that. Hey, congrats on the second place finish, Jesse, and we'll see if you can definitely play spoiler next week.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great night.
All right, Jesse Whittington for you. We're going to go P3 and then the race winner. And Jeremy Briggs, you're standing alongside Jake Ellingson.
We are alongside with Jake Ellingson, who started in sixth position, found himself up towards the front early on, leading quite a few laps. What else did you need, Jacob, to take that Lincoln Tech machine to victory lane?
I just needed to back the pace down a little bit during the beginning of the run. The first 8 laps, I kind of pushed, really hard, and that kind of burned my right front up, especially in turn one, a lot, and just needed to back the pace up, and I think I would have been up there and talking to me for the victory, but things happen, and just finally glad to get a podium finish here in the next gen series, and let's move on to next week and at Las Vegas and see what we can do there.
Well, Jacob, we've seen you have some heartbreak in the races, and now we finally see you have a decent run tonight. Congratulations on your third place finish. Who do you have to thank for getting you here tonight?
I definitely got to thank Lincoln Tech for sponsoring the entire fall series. They've been great supporters here at GLR, and then can't thank them enough for putting their name on this number 27. Glad to get them another podium finish. Hidden Wit Brewery, the title sponsors for the next gen series here, Cruisin Classics, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar. Great people, great places to be. Go check them out if you're ever in Columbus, Ohio. Veterans for Life Foundation, Veterans for Life Racing, InVets, Jampering and Promotions, Maconi Setup Shop, V Speed, Nazareth 360, Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs, Alexander's PC, Sim Motion, Next Level Racing, iRacing, Above the Yellow Line, and all this wouldn't be possible without my beautiful daughters and my wonderful wife giving me the time to come out and have fun with you guys.
Well said, Jacob. Once again, congratulations on your third place finish. Hopefully, we'll grab you a couple more spots next week in the championship four.
All right, thank you much.
That was Jake Ellingson, our third place finisher.
Sir.
And now we've got our winner from one Jeremy to the next. Jeremy Briggs with Jeremy Gardner, our winner here, who seemed to have just those little bit fresher tires there at the end, maybe a little bit of saving. We'll have to find out now. Jeremy, congratulations on your win tonight. Walk us through your night and what you did to get yourself into victory lane tonight.
I just try to stay patient all night. That first one right there, I thought my race was over. Pat spun sideways, and I had to park it in the middle of 1 and 2 to fucking avoid him. So that was fun, man. I just tried to save all night, and it went green all night. I was actually very surprised. A lot of people like to dive bomb this track, just trying to gain position. So that last 10 laps scared me right there. I seen Jesse about 0.8, and I was like, I knew he was saving. I thought he was going to catch me, and I think he ended up hitting the wall or something and fell back, and I just started being conservative, and it played out. So it's nice to be in victory lane.
You definitely had a great run to the end. Like you said, Jesse Whittington was definitely trying to make it interesting. Like it was a great race tonight, green to checkered. That was one thing I love about this GoatLocker Racing League is it's always fun to watch. Like you said, it was a handful out there. Congratulations on your win, Jeremy Gardner. Who do you have to thank for getting you here tonight?
Lincoln Tech, Hidden Wit Brewery, Cruisin Classics, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar, Veterans for Life Foundation, Veterans for Life Racing, InVets, Jampering Promotions. Of course, y'all guys for putting the broadcast on. V Speed, Nazareth 360, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Alexander PCs, Sim Motion, Next Level Racing, iRacing, Above the Yellow Line, and my guys over at Premier Racing Setups. Appreciate y'all putting on the broadcast tonight. That was a hell of a race, and I hope to see y'all next week.
Absolutely, Jeremy Gardner. Well said. Congratulations again. And yes, hopefully we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. See you then.
Well, it's a good thing we're not in the FCC guidelines. Oh goodness me! Hey, excitement comes out, and
It was great
in
racing. It was great
different
racing.
ways. It was great freaking racing there. Let's take a brief moment before talking about the next race, the finale, of course. Invets supports GoatLocker Racing in many ways, from the title sponsorship of the Sunday Truck Series to helping us identify veterans for our community. You can scan the QR code above or follow the link to donate to them today. When veteran organizations partner together, we all win one lap at a time. You can make a monthly commitment or a one-time commitment of many different amounts. Well, next week it's championship week. It's championship Wednesday. It's going to happen at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll be able to get all those top 4 drivers confirmed before we go green flag racing in a week's time. But for myself, Dylan Coyle, as well as Jeremy Briggs, we appreciate you guys watching on Maconi Entertainment. Yes, there's Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll make sure we get all those gambling-related puns ready to go because that will be time for nefarious activities. Oh, man. It's always a fun time to do it there, Jeremy.
Vegas is always a great time, especially with these next gens, especially with this GoatLocker Racing. If you thought tonight was great, watch these 4 drivers battle for the championship at Las Vegas. I can't wait to be there.
All right. Well, for the Cruisin Classics Next Gen Cup Series and GoatLocker Racing, for everyone that has involvement in this series, we wish you a pleasant good evening. And if you're at Nasty's, make sure to take a drink. Good night and good racing.